we talk about women, we don't just see individuals. We see stories of strength, resilience, and limitless potential. Women are the backbone of families, the drivers of economies, the nurturers of dreams, and the forces behind change. From boardrooms to farmlands, from classrooms to innovation labs, they continue to shape the world in the ways both seen and unseen. As we celebrate International Women's Day, we bring you remarkable women across diverse sectors, sharing their thoughts on growth, capability, and the challenges women face, not just external barriers, but also the silent ones, like societal conditioning and the limitations often placed on their ambitions. My name is Komolafe, and it is a special celebration of the International Women's Day.
When you begin to think that it was not until 2007 that women started to get equal pay in tennis tournaments, and it was something that was fought for. Little things like that does not add to equality, but when it was done, it may be small. But at work, even at work in employment, women are still discriminated against. And most women do two jobs. They look after the home and they do the normal work that a man does in an office. Why I fail to understand this inequality in the treatment of women is that the work, the responsibilities in a workplace is not reduced for women, even though we do not want to be paid the same salary as men. It's a fight that has continued, and in that area, I think we need to do more to push for more recognition. Women have contributed immensely to the society. The men that are now resisting equal pay were brought up by women. So that's what I do not understand, that they can think like that. We continue to push.
To the best of my knowledge, a lot of the women that I have come across, I could name 1,000 just sitting here, but that would take all our time. The wonderful energy that comes from having a woman at the top of an organization. If there's a bank, if there's a woman. I remember Mrs. Paula Kuforiji. Such women holding the reins of power in whatever organization they are running. They're not looking down on other women. They're not trying to stop other women from reaching the top. They actually are guiding lights to others to look at and try to achieve that level of achievement, that, like, breaking the glass ceiling, as it were. A lot of women have done that in the area of banking, in enterprise. Either women like Madame Tinubu in those days, they were forces to be reckoned with. Mrs. Ransom Kuti. In fact, she was actually not trying to bring down a kingdom, but she was that powerful in her own time. And that's a long time ago. Are you talking about such women? I'm sure they would look back and say, well, some of the women that are coming behind them are not sort of, you know, standing still or staying in one position. They are also moving. Some of the market women, they are the ones that are behind their children's education. Whether they are educated or, as you might call them illiterates, but still, I didn't have an illiterate woman in my family. Practically every one of them could read and write and sign their names. And they made sure that everybody was aware that they could do that. Even if your family doesn't have that, they don't hold it against you, but they try to encourage you to look at them and see what you can do to improve on the lives of other people. It generates such wonderful energy. The same with women in Ghana. We've noticed that over the years. I was invited to do a documentary on, not only on women in Ghana, but by the time I reached there, you know, a lot of women were in different positions. Women were in the Senate, women in the Parliament. There are some countries in Africa where you have more women than men in the Parliament. And they were not treated as subordinates. They were equals. And they were authorities in their own right. You had women in the universities as professors, as lecturers. I've mentioned Mrs. Ransom Kuti, you know, we can't but help, you know, talking about them, because they were forces of inspiration to a lot of people. And I had teachers, Mrs. Muniz, who was principal at St. Mary's Convent School, and she was in charge of all the female teachers. They didn't discriminate against the men, of course, but then, in a girls' school, you become more aware of your existence as a human being. You knew you had to be the best in your own class. You're not fighting against men, and you're not going to any, you know, boxing tournaments with them, because, of course, we are the feminine and gender, so you don't want to go into any physical combat with anybody. But when we went to debating societies, some of the women did perform better than the men. As a child of 13, I was in primary school, and I went at the film festival to recite poetry. Children came from the Corona schools, English children, but because we were taught by English teachers, we could deliver the lines just as well and even beat the boys. I wouldn't say that, you know, happened all the time, of course. So I grew up with this idea behind my back that, yes, I am here to play my own role as a woman, as a mother, and to other people's children as well, you know, to do the best that you can. If you are the best in any field, you don't want to wait for someone to be playing international women music before you dance. So I've always been in this position where we could start International Women's Organization in Nigeria and call it a big name and ask other people to come and join us and see how forceful women really are. But it's a thing of joy to know that a day is actually set aside for women.
Happy International Women's Day. This year's celebration of the International Woman has been themed Accelerate Action. It calls for intentionality in taking steps that promotes gender equality. At its core, it means creating policies that will not only accommodate women, but policies that would recognize women and recognize their unique contributions to the society. And also, it's a call for the activation of every such policy that has been created, because it is in the activation of such policies that will see a truly transformative society. Now, this is a clarion call for the government to promote policies that recognize women as caregivers, leaders, change makers, and trailblazers. Also to recognize a woman's unique contribution to the society. It is in the recognition of these policies that a society can truly thrive. Now, this is also a call not just for the creation of the policies, but for women to be involved in the process of creating such policies. That is when we can truly ensure that all the objectives of such qualities are met and are achieved. The true progress of any society lies in dismantling barriers. The true progress of any society lies in embracing a woman's unique contributions to the society. Now this is a call to the woman out there. The world needs your voice. The world needs your courage. Your dreams are valid. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep running. Keep working hard. Happy International Women's Day.
Accelerating progress, accelerate action. These are the words that are synonymous with 2025 International Women's Day. And we all know that for a long time, we've not been able to make significant progress. Rather, what we have experienced, particularly in Nigeria, is that things are not getting better at all. For instance, we have peaceful women in the Senate. That is a far cry to where we're coming from. So there is every need to take intentional steps in order that we'll be able to accelerate progress. Now there are several ways to do this. For me, we need to come to the realization that we've got a part to play. And through my investigations, I've come to discover that as women, we hold ourselves deconditioned. What do I mean by that? Over the years, through social, through cultural, through religious means, we have been conditioned in a particular way. We've been told what to do, stereotype, biases, discriminations. We've accepted all of those things, and there are norms within and outside of our environment, including our homes. And so most times, we're leaving a lot of things undone. We're in complete denial of what we should do. For us to be able to accelerate, for us to be able to make progress, we must come to that realization that we've been conditioned in such a way that we really can't make progress until we decondition ourselves. For instance, in different gatherings, I've asked people to refer to me as chairlady and not chairman. But the truth is, for a lot of our women out there, they still prefer to be called a chairman. And I think that that is part of the conditioning that we need to revamp, we need to refocus, we need to address. If we're able to address this, the next step for me is for us to advocate for effective and efficient justice system. In our courts today, if you have a case of domestic violence, if you have a case of rape, the justice system almost denies you justice. Not only that, it takes you a very long time. And we all know that justice delayed is justice denied. Again, there are no proper investigations. Our police officers treat domestic violence as a family matter rather than an offense that needed some address and justice. And so we need to advocate, we need to demand, be it through riots, be it through petitions, be it through strikes, we need to demand that effective and efficient justice system will have to come to play. And for me, finally, the third important strategy that women need to adopt to accelerate progress, action, is for us to massively train our children, particularly the boy child. Because when we talk about mentorship is not only about being on the queue for people to learn from you. Our actions, our inactions forms mentorship shadows for young people. And so we must go back to the children right from the kindergarten years. We must come up with a structure. We must come up with a code of conduct. We must educate them in such a way that by the time they are teenagers, by the time they are young adults, they understand what it means to respect. They understand what it means to ensure that the dignity of the human person, particularly the woman and the girl child, are properly observed. We need to train them on family values. We need to take them away from the crises within our environment and our society. And all of that needs training. Training will have to be done before mentorship. I hear a lot of people talk about mentorship these days. Unfortunately, for a lot of people out there, mentorship is not what is needed. It is training, and retraining.
Fortunately, in Nigeria today, the federal government does not discriminate in terms of salaries. Whether you're a man or woman, you get the same salary scale. And you are promoted on equal basis. Kudos to the federal government, to Nigeria for that. But in the private sector, things are different. In some companies, this is the areas that we have to work on, because the job content is the same.
Gender equity, gender equality addresses two different things, and they are both very important. So when we talk about gender equality, we're saying that you give a level playing field for every human being to participate in. That is what gender equality means. Now, whether there are some nuances as to the physical ability of a man and a woman, that is secondary. That's not what is in question. What is in question is open up the field. Do not bring biases. Do not discriminate. Do not stereotype. Just ensure that the field is clear. For instance, in our political arena here, you find that a lot of men will prefer to have meetings in the midnight, forgetting that as a woman, she may have a responsibility to take care of the children at home. So why don't you put up an even playing field for everyone to participate? Now, gender equity is also a very important terminology that we should all understand and operate. When we talk about equity, what we're saying in essence is that there are certain things about both genders that makes them very unique. And because they are unique, we need to apply certain extra measures in order that everyone benefits from any system. What do I mean by this? For a working model, our office needed to understand that she might need a daycare within the office structure. To bring us a child into the office, she should be given a bit of time to take and look after that child before coming back to work. That is what gender equity is about. So it is not suppressing, it is not perhaps elevating the woman above the man. That's not what equity is about. It's about balancing. It's about understanding the peculiarities of these two genders and ensuring that they are both carried along for the betterment of all. Thank you.
Every woman's voice matters. Every woman's dream is valid. And every step taken towards ensuring women have the freedom, opportunities, and the supports to thrive is a step towards a more balanced and progressive world. As we wrap up this special celebration of International Women's Day 2025, let's reflect on the theme: for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment. It's not just a message, it is a commitment to fostering a world where women don't just participate, but lead, inspire, and redefine possibilities. Grace Komolafe, Sook News Television.